welcome back. My name is Bhavika. For today's video, what I'm going to be doing is going to be reviewing this book here and discussing it, The Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, as you can see. So, if you've read this book or you're interested in reading this book or just, want to know what this book is about, grab something to drink. I got some coffee right here and let's get started. Now, the way that I'm envisioning this going is that the first half of the video is going to be a review, no spoilers at all, just, synopsis, what it's about, who I would recommend it to, kind of like a little bit of details of how the structure of the book is and such, but not spoiling anything. And then the other half of the video is going to be more of like a discussion part, me going into detail about, certain plot points, what I thought, my reaction to certain things. I want you guys to be able to, leave in the comments, like, your reaction to the book, what you thought, and literally have a discussion in the comment section. So hopefully this translates well and this all works out. So we're gonna give it a try and, we'll go from there. Also, I should say, because we're talking about a piece of work and, a piece of art, my opinions are my own. I don't mean to offend anyone or, offend the author or anything like that. These are just my opinions and my reactions. Art is subjective, so not everyone's going to have the same reaction or opinion on said piece of work. So, with that being said, just wanted to cover my bases there. Perfect. Okie dokie. So the Three Dark Crowns. I had first picked this up at the grocery store, just my local grocery store in the book section, because I love to buy books. I don't read them as fast as I should, but that's changing here. And I thought it was interesting. I love anything sci-fi, fantasy, anything like that. Obviously you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but this cover was very interesting. Sorry, I'm looking over here to make sure that the book's in frame. Anyways, I typically don't read the books. I don't read the first chapter in store or anything. I just read the back of the book and then I sit there and I'm just like, is it a story I want to read? Sure. Is it interesting enough? Sure. And then I go ahead and take it home with me. So this book is about three queens. We got Queen Catherine, there's Arsinoe, and Mirabella. So they are triplets and they both are queens, and only one of them can be the actual queen of their land. And essentially, they all three have to try to kill each other to be the reigning queen. So each queen has a special power. We have Queen Catherine. There we go. Queen Catherine is a poisoner, so she's able to ingest poison and not kill her. We have Queen Arsinoe. She is able to bloom plants as well as have control over animals. And then lastly, we have Queen Mirabella. She has the ability to control the elements as well as bring on storms. So pretty fun powers. With that, they're all separated and they're being taught how to use their powers, and on their 16th birthday, they're supposed to essentially start the process of going after each other so they can be the one reigning queen. The way that it is structured is each chapter is based on a location. So each location pertains to a queen. Now with that, it is written in third person, but the thing that makes this different, at least I've never read a third person like this, it's not just third person about the queen, so it's not third person talking about the main character. You have multiple characters that you're getting perspectives from in said location through third person. Hopefully that made sense. I wasn't aware of that. That really threw me for a curveball, because not that I don't pay attention to books when I'm reading them, obviously I am, but you have to pay, I feel like, a deeper attention to the book, because when it's one paragraph to another, you gotta know whose mind you're in, who we're talking about. And that really threw me for a loop, because sometimes it wasn't explicit that there was a change, and then I had to read the whole paragraph back and be like, oh, this is who we're talking about, or this is who is, speaking at this point. This is the perspective we're in. It did get frustrating at times, not going to lie. I did finish the book. I got used to it, but it definitely was frustrating. So another thing that I think is important to disclose about this book as a review point is that there are a bunch of characters. There are a lot of characters that really confused me at first, because some of them you only meet once, some of them that you will meet later, with each chapter being a different location, different queen. It is sometimes, it just takes a moment for me to remember where we left off. So for example, we could be talking about Queen Catherine, and then it jumps to Arsinoe, and then Mirabella, and then it'll go to Arsinoe, Mirabella, Catherine. So then each chapter I'm just like, okay, wait, where did we leave off with said queen? Where are we? So that I definitely had to keep going back to past chapters and being like, okay, this is what happened with her. Now we're over here, because you are changing multiple locations and there's different things happening at the same time. I will say later on in the book, the events start happening closer together. You are in the same location, so it does get better, but that is later on the book. Another thing I will say about this book, if you're like me and prefer more of the action to get started, or more of things to start happening fairly quickly, this doesn't happen in this book. There is a lot of build up, a lot of backstory, but it's fairly slow at the beginning. Okay, what's happening? Where are we going? Because at some points it was super slow that I didn't understand, or I wasn't able to figure out or predict what these points were coming to, what was going to happen. It just felt like we were going through the days with these characters, and sometimes it was a little confusing. It was okay, we're 100 pages in, now we're 200. What's going on? Do we have what's come on, give me something. I want to know what's going on. What's the next step? What's going to happen? I know something's going to happen. That's the part that kept me going, is I know that something's going to happen. And I like the premise of the story, but I was just waiting for it. I would definitely recommend this book to someone who doesn't care about the third person perspective that I tried to describe earlier. Someone who's who's okay with having to go back maybe certain times to figure out, where you left off with certain characters there. And then as well as if you're okay with a slower start, for a build up and it being a little slower at the beginning, and you're able to push through that, then I would definitely recommend this to someone. This is the first book in a series. I'm not sure exactly. I want to say there's 3 books in the series. Maybe it's ongoing. I haven't researched that far. But I will say, with the fact that it left on a cliffhanger, I am frustrated with that, because I was frustrated reading it at the beginning because it took so long to get into certain action, but now I want to know what's happening next. But I don't know if I want to put up with it. So I'll let you guys know if I do end up reading the second book. If you haven't read the book and you want to wait and you're reading the book, come back, we'll discuss it. But going forward, just a big heads up, I'm going to put signs and stuff. There will be spoilers going forward, so you have been warned. Okay, so let's get on to the discussion fire. So I'm not going to, discuss every little speck of detail about this book, but we are going to go into specifics and about certain things that, I don't know, I want to hear your opinions on. Leave a comment down below of what you think, of what you thought. I would love to hear that. If you are going to leave spoilers or key details of the book, please at least note that as a spoiler. Put spoiler before you make your comments, so people who haven't read the book don't accidentally read it and it's not ruined for them. I would highly appreciate that. Okay, so the next situation that I feel like I need to discuss, because it absolutely... I yelled during this part of the book, so I was definitely invested at this point. But Joseph, did anyone else full on, that's all I can say. I can just sit there and be like, Joseph, ugh. You know what I mean? That whole situation, again, I'm invested. At this point, I'm invested. I'm invested in Jules and Joseph's relationship. They've been they've been apart for 5 years, and, they're totally in love with each other, and then he, drowns, almost dies, and sleeps with Mirabella, and I was like, fine, whatever. At first, I didn't know it was him. I didn't realize it was him, because in her perspective, it's just a sailor. And then I'm like, wait, who was sailing? Who was sailing? Who sails? Oh my God, it's Joseph. Completely was just like, no, not Joseph. When it happened, I was like, fine, it happened. He was drowning. He thought he was dying. It happened. Whatever. Fine. Pass. Really? Not really. But fine. Pass. But then it happens a second time. And then I'm like, Joseph. Ugh. Like, really? I know it's not her fault. But, like, she knows they talk about it. So she knows that he's with Jules. And it just irritated me. I was just so upset. I was so upset at this point. I'm like, you were doing so well, Joseph. You were being such a great guy. And then what really irritated me, oh my goodness, was when, I should probably put the book down. We're putting the book over here, so I don't. What really irritated me was the fact that, to Jules, he's talking about her, and then he tells her what happened, and they're in that weird phase. So when they're in Beltane, I always want to say Beltane because it just sounds fancier, but it's Beltane. When they go there, and he just is at her stage, and Jules is over here trying to control the bear, and she sees that I was just like, no. And he did that, and then he got in front of Mirabella and protected her, and I was just like, I get why you did that, Joseph, but why'd you do that, Joseph? Be with Jules. I just want him to be with Jules, because it just they just seem so cute together. That's just the whole point. Yeah, so me and Joseph, not on good terms. So it's Peter. So I didn't know how I felt about Peter at the beginning. I was just like, okay, so he's doing this to be on the council, and, she does get something out of it. Catherine needs to, be presented more. I get that. But then they, start falling in love, blah, 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 all of that. They catch feelings for each other. Cool, I was all for it. Peter was telling her, if all hell breaks loose, you need to run and meet me at Breccia Domain. Meet me there. Just run away, go there. And I'm just thinking, okay, why are we going to the cavern that he did not want to look into because he found it weird? And it's somewhere that is supposed to be all the sacrifices get thrown. But I was thinking, well, no one's gonna, expect them to go there. But also it didn't sit right with me that, he was going somewhere where he didn't like to be, because he expressed that in the chapters previously when they went there together. And then he pushed her. I was like, not you too, Peter. Part of me is thinking, maybe he did it because if she was gonna die, if that was the end of her route, that, he would rather do it than her die miserably by the priestesses and such. But then I'm just like, but you love her. Billy tried to take our sin away on a boat. So, not really sure, but I did not like it. That one, I was just very confused by it. It was expected, yet unexpected. It just didn't, I expected something to happen, I just was not expecting him to push her, which was really sad. And then the fact that she came back, and yeah, she came back and she was pissed. So, I would be pissed if someone I love pushed me off the edge of a cliff unexpectedly after they told me to meet them there. So, I get you, girl. The last thing was the fact that, okay, I'm not gonna lie. When I did get the book initially, I accidentally read the last page in it. But I only read the last sentence. And the last sentence was, I thought it was about Catherine when I first originally read the last sentence. I was just like, oh, it's about her. I was fairly surprised when Arsinoe sits there and is saying that she ate the poisoned chocolates or candies and she survived and that she's the poisoner. And then that's how it ends? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I don't have the second book. I don't know if I want to read the second book, but now I'm conflicted. I am heavily conflicted. Do I read the book? Do I not read the book? I was frustrated with the book at the beginning, and then it got good, and I waited it out, and it got good, and now I'm left on a cliffhanger. So with that being said, we have reached the end of this video. My final thoughts on this is I'm not sure if I'm going to read the second one. I haven't quite decided if I'm ready for that commitment. Let me know if you do. Leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like button. Also, that subscribe button as well as the little bell so you're notified of new videos when I get them posted. I appreciate you, being here with us. Again, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Like I said multiple times in the video, I really don't want people to have the book ruined for them by spoilers. So if you are going to leave a comment, if you are going to start a discussion, just note that it is a spoiler. I would highly appreciate it, and I'm sure others would as well. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you at the next one. Stay safe out there, and have a great time. Bye!